Hey there everybody, this is the ManCalledMegz bringing you another champion spotlight video. This time we are looking at Barik. Barik is a protector class champion, so his abilities and gameplay is based around protecting your other champions rather than straight out attack. So let's start off by taking a look at his primary ability, the blunderbuss. This is your typical shotgun type weapon based around dealing damage at more closer range with a little bit of spread, rather than some of the sort of aimed abilities that you might be used to playing with some of the other champions in the game. The blunderbuss packs quite a lot of ammo with this, so you're not reloading every 5 minutes, but as you can see from range, it's not exactly the most powerful weapon in the game. We were doing lots of small hits at range when we've got, sort of a fairly good lock on the target, let's say in the training room. As you can see, we get closer, damage doubles up for about half the distance, and as we get in, we can finish them off quite quickly. You'll see here that as we're taking down this one, occasionally we're getting the odd headshot, and yes, this weapon does benefit from aiming at the head of the opposing champion. As you can see here when we're aiming at Fernando, all the body shots dealing a sort of average damage, but direct headshots doing a lot more. We'll get in right up close and pop him in the face, dealing lots and lots of critical hits, adding a decent percentage on to the amount of damage you're doing. Of course, the downside of having a weapon like this is that when you're dealing with moving targets, it's a little bit more difficult to get every single one of those hits on, especially, at distance. You're going to have to aim a little bit closer to home to get that damage in. But there is a spread effect, so you can hit multiple enemies. We're a little bit too far away here to really get decent range, but you can see that over this distance we're still able to hit multiple targets with our shots. So where does Barik's damage really come from? Well, it's really from the turret ability, his Q ability. Pressing Q will build a automatically targeting and firing turret with a limited amount of health but infinite ammo, and it will stay up for as long as it remains alive. Probably the best comparison to this would be the engineer from TF2, who has a very similar ability to put down an automatically firing turret, although possibly I would say that the engineer in TF2 has a bit of an advantage over Paul Barik. So pressing Q drops down the turret. Now this ability is augmented by your loadout cards, so it's much quicker here than it is by default, because the default loadout for Barik drops the build time by 3.6 seconds. So if you're choosing a different build than standard, it will take a little bit more time to drop these turrets. You have to be a bit more careful about where you place them, otherwise the enemy has a chance to destroy them before you even get a chance to do any damage, as we'll see next. Here we do, we drop it down in front of a firing enemy champion, and as you can see, very quickly taken out really before it's had a chance to do any damage. Of course, Barik is a protector class, so what ability are we using to fulfill that role in our group? Right mouse clipping will drop a semicircular shield in front of your champion, which has 3,000 health and will absorb enemy damage coming into it. So this is how you protect either your teammates if they're trying to capture a point or defending a payload, or more importantly, if you're wanting to drop a turret and defend it from enemy attack. It's also worth noting that the shield effect actually has a time limit of 4 seconds by default, so even if it hasn't absorbed all the damage it possibly can, it can just pop down and leave you vulnerable, so you have to be careful about exactly when you choose to play it. Here we are protecting one of our teammates, and as you can see, it's absorbing damage and then eventually drops down and our teammate is vulnerable. Barik's F ability is one that's probably less used in terms of actual sort of offensive or defensive play. It's really your kind of get out of damage card. You're going to play this when you've gone in, placed your turrets, placed your shield's gone down, you've done some damage on the enemy champions, and they're starting to do damage back to you, and you need to get the heck out of there. And you'll press F, which will give you a little speed boost for a few seconds. During a rocket boost, you do have limited control, unlike me here. It will fire you forward about 125, 150 yards, give or take. It's not really accurate measurements there. And like you say, you can steer yourself around corners to get yourself out of harm's way pretty darn quick. What you might be surprised to learn is that your rocket boost doesn't actually give you any vertical movement at all. So here we are firing off of a ledge, and we drop straight down to the ground. I found this to be a little surprising, as a lot of the other characters have abilities that allow them to sort of take flight and reach platforms that they wouldn't be able to normally jump to. But as we can see here, we rocket jump forward and try and jump at the edge of the platform, and yeah, we just fall straight to the ground. Barik's ultimate ability is probably one of the best that I've played so far. It drops down a very large turret that deals massive amounts of damage in a sort of AoE style. So instead of just focusing on one character like the turrets do, it's able to attack multiple champions. Really good when you're pushing into the heart of enemy territory, or you're really up against a team pushing hard against your payload in siege. For example. The downside, well, you've got to be in place to plant this in the first place, and it can also be destroyed by enemy champions. So that was Barik the Dwarf. If you're the kind of player that enjoys that support role within a group, I think you'll really enjoy playing with him. You won't be getting all of the kill streaks necessarily with him, but you'll definitely get the satisfaction of knowing that you helped your team do what they needed to do. I've been the ManCalledMegz. Keep your eye out for the part 2 of this video where we'll show you some gameplay. Remember to like, comment and subscribe for more Paladins content, and we'll see you again soon. Bye bye.